YouTube?
Jamar.
What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is Jamar here once again.
Oh, y'all. Okay, first of all, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamar here once again. And we are here to we're here to talk about this latest episode of American Horror Story, Roanoke, chapter 5. Wow. It was back to back to back with this episode. My God. So many moments where I was not ready. I was not prepared for 90% of what happened in this episode. Oh shit, hold on. Moving notifications. Okay. Alright, y'all. we gonna make it through because I have a lot of notes. This video is probably gonna be very long. For those of you who like the long videos, if y'all ride in the car, if y'all just sitting around cleaning up your house and just want to hear me discuss this, let's go. Okay. Ryan Murphy, you did it. You did the damn thing with this episode, child. Because, so far the series has been kind of on an incline. It's been good, but this just tied it all together. So kudos to you for prime entertainment on tonight. Okay. So the story starts off, we get a little bit more history on this house. This Mr. Edward Philip Mott, I believe is his name, or how it's pronounced. We see a little backstory on him and how he came to build the house. Apparently he came from money. It looks like they were auctioning the house before at one point, and he just kind of barged in on the auction and just said, I have, I'm going to spend whatever money I need to spend. None of you can bother to outbid me because you're not going to do it. So I'm just going to buy the house. He just walked in, interrupted everything, and said, it doesn't matter what it is the rest of you are bidding. I'm going to pay the most, so it's just mine. So there's nothing you can really do about it. I'm like, well, damn, okay. So we learned that he's like an introvert. He has like social anxiety, I believe. So he wanted to be alone. He wanted to go way off somewhere, away from people, away from the parts of Philadelphia and things of this nature. And so they're building a house. And first we see that, as they're building, a man falls off, I guess falls from the ladder or whatnot, and he breaks his leg. And I mean, he breaks his leg bad. Like, there's a lot of sensitive content in this particular episode. Like, up until this point, it really hasn't been that bad. It really hasn't been that hard to watch, but whew. His leg was, it was broken. It was bad. Like, it was bad. And then after we recovering from that, he's talking to, I guess, one of his little servant hands, a little light-skinned boy. I'm thinking, oh boy, here goes another slave. That's what I'm thinking. Here goes another slave. And he's talking to him about, the project and how it's going. And then I guess he told him to do something, or he told him to go fetch something. But then he stopped him and was like, come here, grabbed him, and made out with the boy. I was like, bruh, really? Well, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like, the gays have just now started coming around in the new millennium, but in the 1700s, that's just, I've never seen them represent the gay community in that time period anywhere, on any show. So I was not ready. Like I said, I was like, oh. Okay. And then the historian lady was, as she was giving the history on this house, she was like, he left his wife and daughter for this man and moved in like all his paintings and stuff. I'm like, golly. Well, this is a very interesting first 5 minutes of the episode. So, they in what I presume to be, looks like a bathtub of some sort, and they are getting it in. Okay, going to town in this bathtub. And he's like, I think I'm going to get rid of the workers, because I guess as the maids or whatever, they be looking at them crazy because I guess they know that they together. And I can only imagine how people used to look at the gay community in 400 years ago, And so he's like, I'm going to get rid of them all because I don't like the way that they look at me. And the dude is like, well, if you get rid of all of them except for me, I'm going to have to be working all day. And if I'm working, I can't play with this. And when he said this, he did one of two things. Because old dude just kind of tensed up and just like, and eyes roll back in his eyes roll back in his head. Now, he either did one of two things. He, how can I say this in PG? Is there a PG way to do it? He groped his appendage, option one, which is the option that I'm kind of leaning against, because that reaction, based off his body language, leads me more to option two, as to where he, put the little, put his, there's no way to say this in PG. He stuck his finger up there. I swear he just stuck his finger up there. The dude just was like in a state of freaking euphoria. I was not ready for this. I wasn't. And then as dude is as he's going in doing whatever, because we can only leave it to imagination. He's going on about how much he loves his paintings and this, that, and the fourth. And then he says, I love the paintings even more than you. And I'm like, dang, you gonna sit there and say that to me while I'm sitting here giving you everything I can think to give you, and you sitting up here talking about how much you love these paintings? The dude was just like, look, shut up and let's bang. Like, you doing all this talking, you need to be putting in this work. Oh, wow. So, in the middle of the night, dude hears some noise and goes downstairs with his little candle and finds all his paintings are ripped out. His bust is busted on the floor. And he gathers all his workers and is trying to find out who did it. And one lady, after he done slapped the shit out of her, goes to her and is like, she tries to tell him that she saw a big white lady and her son in the house at some point, or late at night, and I guess he doesn't believe her, and that's when he called them all liars. And he locked them down in that cellar where Elias was, and said they're going to stay down there until the murderer or the person who is responsible for this comes forward. And I guess I think, what was his name? Genesis? I can't remember what the black or half black Mexican lover that he had. I forget what his name was. They only said it like maybe once or twice. But he, was feeling some type of way because he done, put all the servants down there. I guess that could have just easily been him, and he was just feeling sympathetic towards them. And he was like, "Don't you judge me, and I don't want to see you for the rest of the night." And him just the guy just being a brat. The Edward character, excuse me, was just being a brat. So later that night, the butcher came and his people, they came and got him, swiped him out of bed, brought him outside, um, skewered him in the chest with his big long pole, and it was like, "You're trespassing on my." He was like, "You're trespassing on my land." She was like, "No, you're trespassing on our land, and we're gonna cover this land with blood." That's what she says every week. Blood, not blood, blood. So after she done skewered him like a shish kebab, then they just stick him in the fire and he's burned alive. I'm like, that's what you call a rude awakening, okay? Because he was sleeping soundly in his bed, and next thing you know, he on fire. So that was rude. And the historian was telling us that the lover apparently escaped on a horse or whatever, but he got arrested and put in jail because they accused him of murdering his master and hiding the body. Because the spirits then burned him alive, so they obviously not gonna think that some ghost spirits from hundreds of years ago killed him. And then they said that he never even mentioned the servants that was locked down in the cellar, so they done went, found the cellar, cracked it open, and found all these dead skeletons down there. And I'm just like, oh, all those poor people just starved to death, my lord. Or they probably reverted to eating each other. Who knows? This episode, I'll tell you, it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. So, now mind you, we're back to the present, and we see the butchers outside their front yard waiting for them to come on down so she can get this thing popping. And he tries to call the police, and I'm just like, when this whole time you've been dealing with the police, have they done anything of use? Anything? You're going to call them now for what? You know, like, what are they going to do for you now? They don't even believe half the things you say. They're probably not going to dispatch anybody out there anyway, because you didn't dispatch them out there like 2 or 3 times talking about things, crazy things that you saw that you can't prove. Like, I was like, well, I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. I guess you never know. I guess he really had to do something, but come on. Anyways, he wants to try to do a diversion, and he's going to try to lead them away while Shelby takes Flora and gets in the trucks and just drives away. That was the plan. That plan was foiled immediately when they tried to go downstairs, and the little crazy little Asian looking girl, who I thought was the girl from The Grudge at first when I looked at her, because she was crawling all around and she had the black hair over her face. I really thought that was the Grudge. I'm like, who the heck is that? Who is this random person? And then I remembered that was a little Asian girl that was that was in the family from the 70s that she killed. So I'm like, what the heck is going on now? And she takes Flora and she's going through all the different rooms like she was leading them somewhere, and then they finally drop her off. And then when they find her, they see the 3 huntsmen, they see the pig man, they see her crawling up the walls and whatnot. And Matt realizes that he was remembering that Elias was telling them that all these spirits, they were afraid of the butcher, but it looks like she was using that fear that they had of her and using them to lure them so she could kill them, basically. So now they're trapped. And now when they're in this, whatever this room was that they were in, now all of a sudden Edward Mott, the original homeowner that was skewered and burned alive, decides to appear and try to help them out the house. So we're thinking, okay, this is the first kind of spirit that's trying to actually help them out. So he's like, where are you leading us? And he basically told them, like, I'm not really saving you to save you. I'm only trying to prevent you from dying. And they're kind of like, well, why? Because he's like, well, because he's still like this social introvert. Like, he still doesn't want people. And he's like, I can't deal with having 3 additional souls trapped here when I like to be alone, and I already have all these other souls that are trapped here, and they're getting on my nerves. So I'm like, wow, he's only saving y'all so y'all won't die here for eternity and get on his nerves. I mean, you know what? I'll take it. At this point, if you can just get me out here, I will be so far off your nerves. I will be so far away that you won't even hear nothing or hear nothing about me ever again. I'm telling you. So, after he brings them out so far, he just decides to bring them into the woods, and then he's just gone. He's like, "This is as far as I'm going. Good luck." So I'm like, "Well, what now?" So then they start walking off into the woods, and they see a house. Or Flora said that she saw a house, and we look over into the distance, see like a little porch light or whatever. And next thing you know, they get knocked out. So I'm like, here we go again. Every time they take a step forward, they take 2 steps back. And now they when they get revealed, they're back in the house with them little inbred hillbilly people. And I'm just like, oh damn. What now? What now? And they're still like, oh well, we're not here alone. They hear somebody screaming. Lord, they done looked up. And this is the same house where they found them 2 boys suckling on that dead pig udder. Yeah. They see Elias, and Elias looks a little bit different. Elias is missing some things. He's missing an arm, a leg, different just parts of his body, or just that are supposed to be there that aren't. So I guess this answers my question before, because I was thinking he was dead too before, but I guess he was alive somewhere. Not sure, but they said that they found him out in the woods with them arrows, and then they mama came and helped him stay alive, and so that's when we just realized that, oh, so she's eating him. Cool. For those of you who may be familiar with the Walking Dead game, if you haven't, get that by Telltale. It's in the App Store. That is an awesome game. Really, side note. But in that game, there's a episode where these 2 people who were eating, these 2 brothers who were eating people on this farm, had a mom who was luring people from the main camp to their farm to eat them. So this was kind of very reminiscent of that, and that's what it reminded me of. So the mama comes in, and the mama is, I always think of her as Myrtle Snow from The Coven. Like, I'm so excited to see who her character is going to be every season. And I was almost upset, like, is she not going to be in it this time? But here she is. So she tries to offer them a piece of jerky from the smokehouse. And I'm like, we really don't know that this is literally Elias's meat? And you about to serve us human meat right now, lady? Are you kidding me? So she tries to get them to eat, and they're like, no, we're not hungry. And she's like, oh, come on. It's not like you're better than us. I'm not serving you poison. She tries to eat it, and she spits it out like, oh, this is rancid. It's like, oh, his meat's no good now. And they said, well, I guess since his meat's no good, you can just kill him. I'm like, so they just bash his head in. I'm like, Lord have mercy. And I know it was fake. Excuse me, I know it's like, it's a plastic, head for, props and stuff, but my God. The way that they played it, just played with your mind and think it was real. Whew. So, their mama tells them that they made a deal with the butcher, apparently. Their family, a couple 100 years ago, made a deal with the butcher that they would serve them sacrifices every year so that they would leave them alone. So their point in buying the house was that they were going to buy it to make sure that it stayed empty. And that they were going to try to, control the sacrifices. I'm not sure. Something along them lines. But that was my understanding that I got from it. And, excuse me. I need to go to bed, y'all. So we pan back over to Lee. We hadn't seen Lee in a couple episodes, it seems like. Um, so they're questioning her about her husband, and she's like, I'm a cop, and I already know that they have to wait 48 hours before they have to charge me. So I'm just gonna wait out these 48 hours. So they're trying to ask her, like, did you kill your husband? And she was like, and she said what I was thinking, like, how did I gonna lift a grown man into that wooden thing and stick his arms out? And she's like, maybe you didn't do it alone. With who? Who? Who else is there that could conspire against my husband? So he was just making a whole lot of BS accusations until they finally did let him go. And then she finds out the floor is safe, so she's happy. So the Hillbillies then got Matt and Shelby in this car. And he's like, I'm just waiting for that one moment. And so he overpowers one dude and grabs the gun, shoots the driver, and Shelby manages during the struggle to kick the other dude out the car. Now, pause. Here is where they lost me. I was like, okay, y'all are doing so well up until this point. I'm with you. Why, when they got out the truck, why didn't they just push the dead body over out the truck since the truck was still on, get in the truck, and drive away? Why didn't they get in the truck and drive away? I didn't understand that. They got out and started walking, and then they tried to hide because I guess the other dude that they kicked out the car found them, and Lee tried to call them, and that's probably how they found them. And wait a minute, let me move down. So they bring them back to their mama. The mama brings them out in the field somewhere, and she's mad because her son just got shot. She was like, if I didn't have to sacrifice you, if I didn't have to promise you to her that I would kill you myself. And instead of killing her, Matt is like, we'll never run away again. And she's like, you damn right you won't. She gets, I don't even know what that was that she pulled up. I really don't even know what that was. She gets it, and then she takes and she smashes Shelby's ankle. Oh my God. That was just horrible. Horrible to see. Bruh. So now she's crying in pain. He's like, I never felt so useless. I'm just like, Lord have mercy, Jesus. So they bring them back to the house, and I'm just like, it's over. It is literally over. I'm like, there's only way that something can, as if Lee does something. Now, mind you, Lee, after they had to let her out and she was able to get her phone and figure out the floor was safe, she asked for a ride, back to the house. So she gets to the house and she's like, call for backup. Man, that police officer paid no. He saw what was going on and he was like, man, bump this. He turned the mug around and dipped. I'm like, see, he ain't SHIT for that. So, as they getting brought back, Shelby's screaming because she's already crippled. There's nothing she can do. Like, she's just, she's just a sitting duck at this point. All of a sudden, and then Priscilla, I guess they was about to try to kill Flora first, and then Priscilla's like, you said that she would be last, and Butcher was like, well, guess what? Now she's first. I was like, okay. Now, I know that this show is going to show a lot of different stuff, but I am confident that no TV network would allow to view a ferocious or a disemboweling of a child. I don't see them doing that for the sake of the show. So, as they were about to do this is where I guess her son was just having an epiphany. He's been doing this for hundreds of years, but yet for some reason right now, he just has an epiphany. Is like, no, I'm not going to shed any more blood for you. Knocks his mama over the head. She's bleeding somehow. I'm not sure what blood that is, if she's dead, but he knocks her over and then drags her and himself into the fire. I'm like, does that work? Like, is that just supposed to work? I don't know. But after, so they're sitting there burning up, I guess everybody else is kind of like, so, like, what do we do now? And then the pig man was just like, well, I guess I'm about to just go ahead and go with the plan, since that's the only thing I know. He was about to get the hatchet and slice up Flora's head, and then all of a sudden, here comes Lee in this car and runs him over. Pause. Where did she get this car from? Because last I checked, when she got dropped off by the policeman went in reverse and left. Where did she get this car from? I'm going to need them to explain that, because that don't make no sense. But regardless, she got this car, and everybody gets into the car, and they see the butcher is coming out the flames, running after them, and they punch it, and they leave. So they make it back to this hotel, and I guess, you know, they're feeling safe or whatever, but then Shelby sees, like, smoke coming from the front door, and I'm like, oh, hell. This is going to be one of them cases where no matter where you go, we'll always find you type things. But as she opened the door, and it was the butcher, and she had sliced her in the head, but it was just a dream, child. And she's like, I still have that dream. I done gone to psychotherapy and everything, and that's how the episode ended. So here's the thing: I was watching like the AfterBuzz recap after show of this, and it looks like that episode 6 of next week is supposed to be like a complete flip or like a whole different story or something. Because it's only going to be 10 episodes, and it's supposed to be some, I don't know, something is supposed to flip and change for the next episode. Because I'm like, this is kind of the end. Like, they could end it right here almost. So I'm like, what are the next 5 episodes going to be? So, dude, this was an awesome episode. It was fantastic. It was a lot. But let me know what y'all think about it in the comments below, child. Because I'm about to take my ass to sleep. I'm tired. But I will hit you guys up I will let you... I can't talk. We'll chat together in the comments. I'll be responding to you guys. Because I want to know what y'all thought about this. I really do. But yeah, let me know. Follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter at Jamar84. That's JAMAR84. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe.
Jamar, Washington, Washington, Washington.